Welcome back to Desertwood Days, and I am here with the lovely Tamara McDaniel. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute thrill.
Such a pleasure, such a pleasure. I just love those eyes.
Oh, well, thank you. Can't really take credit, there's
Such a pretty lady. It's such a pleasure to see you. It's been so long.
I know. I was thinking actually when we were talking before, that's been, I'm going to say 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long
Holy
time.
cow.
Yes.
Yeah, 10 years. I think it's been 10 years ago because I think that was like 2010.
Yes, that's about right.
Oh my God.
But that's okay. We're here now.
Yes, yes.
Miss Tamara, what possessed you to tackle the filmmaking industry?
It's a sickness. I don't know. It happened a while ago. Honestly, if you'd asked me 10 years ago, would you want to be a producer? I would have laughed in your face and said, no, that's like way too much work. Um, uh, in fact, my dad had said to me, you should be a producer. And I was just like, no, thank you. I'll be talent. And, but when I used to work for APS, and when I first left there, I kind of went, all right, universe, what should I do? And I always had wanted to do acting and stuff like that. So I'd gone back and taken classes, and one of the classes I took with Miss Elaine Stein, who,
Okay.
if I'm sure people remember her, and she mentioned that people would like meet up and get coffee once a week and do stuff, right?
Right.
And I thought, perhaps I could get hired to do acting and voice work and stuff like that if I went to one of these things. So, Google wasn't really a thing, but the internet was just kind of getting going. This was back in the day. And
we're still back in the MySpace days.
yes. And so I was trying to find this thing that she talked about. I mean, I'd taken her class and I wrote it down, and I couldn't find this meetup. And so, but in my searching, I found meetup.com.
Okay.
And so I thought, well, if there's no group that I can join, then I'm just going to start one. And
that's what you have to do sometimes.
Right. And that's what I did. And so in the process of that, honestly, I was just trying to get hired.
Right.
I just wanted to meet a few directors, and I thought, well, maybe a producer or two, whatever, and they would just see how awesome I was.
And that's when most of us start things. It's because we want to get hired.
Exactly.
So that's when we create things.
Exactly. Well, in the process of that, about 2 weeks after I started the group, I had 12 people.
Okay.
And some producer from LA calls me and says, hey, I want to do a PSA for a kid's video out there, and I want your group to do it, and for you to produce it. And I was just like, no. I hadn't produced a paper bag. I mean,
so and I just went up group. Your name got out there.
Exactly, and I said, well, okay.
Yeah.
And then he was very nice. He actually was a producer.
Okay.
So when he came out, he gave me direction.
Okay.
And I had been working on commercials and stuff, but I mean, just as a PA, I had to start at the bottom again.
What was your first commercial?
It was a Hospice of the Valley commercial.
Okay.
And I was a PA, and Hugh Downs was on it. And I remember being very impressed with that because he's just lovely. And the producer of that commercial, Paula Merrill, was just is the loveliest person. And she kind of realized that she didn't have just your average PA. Like, I had a life before becoming a PA.
Sure.
So she knew she could give me all the difficult stuff pretty quickly on.
And you would get it done.
Mm-hmm. And so and then having the group also, I just, because of my former life, I thought, actually, I see a lot of areas that need help. So I just kind of fell into producing. I just, I had
For those people that may not know what a producer does, give us a little overview of what does a producer do for a film set.
uh, depends on the budget, because really, what doesn't a producer do? But um, basically, a producer brings the team together,
Okay.
and they figure out how much it's going to cost. Sometimes they're helping to find the money. Usually, that's an EP, but it can get very muddy in low budget.
So in the other world, it's pretty much a lot what a project management
Right.
manager would do.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot of, and that's what I had done, project management, and I used to write nuclear engineering process procedures and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
it's knowing how to like organize people
Sure.
and seeing who's going to work well together, that kind of
Okay.
thing.
That helps to see it better when you can see what is done in, I'm gonna say, corporate or outside of filmmaking. That
Right.
is, a lot of those skill sets are similar that you can take over here.
Exactly.
And you know what? I think we forget that when we're putting together our resumes for, say, filmmaking or acting, that we have a whole bunch of skill set over here
Absolutely.
that we can use over here.
Absolutely.
That is awesome.
Well, I personally love hiring ex-military for my crew. Like, if you used to be in the military, you're already a leg up for me.
So military, you love hiring military
I do.
personnel.
Yeah, I do. For any, if there's 3 crew positions and I have 3 people and they're all things being equal, they're all the same qualifications. If one of them is military, that's probably who I'm gonna
Right.
gravitate towards. Just
Were-
because
Were you military?
no,
No?
no. But my dad was and my
Oh,
brother
okay.
was, but I just
You're
noticed.
just partial to supporting and helping the military.
No, they're just really they're just disciplined generally.
Oh, okay.
And they don't they're not afraid of hard work, and they understand when I say I need this done.
Right.
I don't generally have to say it twice. And there's so many, as so many moving parts on a film.
That is true.
And so particularly in my PAs and more kind of overall type positions, I love military people there, because it's like I can just say this needs to happen, and once I get to know that person, like, I don't have to think about it. Oh, I
Right.
mentioned it to them, so I know it's
You
done.
know it's going to be taken care of.
Exactly.
You did voice work.
I do still do voice
So
work.
when did you first start doing voice work?
Actually, I was still with APS at the time, and one of the guys that I forget where he was. I think he was in the generation side. And he was talking to me, and he said, "Oh, you should do voice work." And he told me I should go try to get on Sun Sounds Radio, which is for the blind. And I always recommend people to do that. And he said, you have a real good voice, and it's really good for your resume. And I'd never thought about voice work prior to this, but I love voice work. And I was like, yeah, you're just saying that because you want some free labor. But I did it, and I loved it.
It is fun. I remember the first time I did it, but it was with like an animated film.
Yes.
So that was even extra fun.
Those are super fun. Those are super fun too.
I don't even know what happened to that.
Well, what was the movie?
It was I don't even remember the name of it, but I know who the producer was. But.
Yeah, it's all of it's fun.
Yes.
And so actually though, and I had a casting director look at my voice resume one time and said, "Oh, you've been on Sun Sounds, and you did this and this and this." And she's like, "That's impressive." And I thought, I guess that guy was not doing me
Right.
after all.
He didn't need anything from you. He was helping you out, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was, it was quite a process to get approved there. So,
Miss Tammy, do you have a genre of films that you prefer to produce?
my favorite, of course, is comedy. I love comedy. But they're all fun.
Mhm.
Dramas are fun. Freakishly, horrors, probably stuff that I wouldn't watch, are fun to
Right.
produce. But yeah, comedy. I mean, who does?
Yeah.
Obviously, comedy.
And I asked that question because there are some people that just they gravitate to horror or they gravitate to certain. So that's what I was.
Yeah. No, I don't. I mean,
I think
I
the
like.
variety is good.
Yeah, I like anything. We've done everything, and they're all fun. They all have their little elements of interesting,
Yeah.
and comedy's fun. Comedy's difficult because you have to not laugh while they're doing it.
Right.
So that's bad. I'm not good at that.
Right.
So
Look, and you have to be ready. You can't be grouchy. It's a bad day.
that's right. Well, I'm usually.
You have to be funny.
That's right. Yeah, I'm usually not grouchy per se, but it's like if I'm watching them film, I'm the first one to crack up and screw up the shot. So
Tell us about one of your most memorable films that you were a part of.
oh gosh, so many are so good, but the one that stands out in my mind probably, Girl Wired was fabulous. But the one I like the best, it's not that I like the best. It was just that it had a moment that stands out with me was Margarine Wars, and it was a moment I had with Doris Roberts, who has left us now, but she was on the movie, and so that I can't say that one was a favorite or not, but that moment with her is something that will always stick with me. That she was just such a mensch, such a great person, and she did some special stuff for us.
So you've been doing this for a long time. Like you said, you've done voice work, you've done producing, you've act. You have lots of experience there. So what would you tell someone that's just fresh, ready to start? What advice would you give that person?
Get on set, however you can get on set. And like whether they want to be crew or acting, don't necessarily worry about if you're getting paid, because I don't worry about if you're getting paid as a producer. When I'm hiring, I don't care if you got paid for it. Tell me what you did on what job. That's what matters. So I think if it's a student film, if it's a film challenge, I had to start in all of those places.
Well, we all did.
Yeah, exactly. And so I would say get on set, get involved with people who are doing things, and get on set and listen more than you speak. And
be a sponge, soak it all in.
Exactly. And be nice to people, because you never know. The person who is your PA today can be your producer tomorrow.
That's true.
And
so where can our audience find you?
Well, I have I'm on IMDb, of course. Okay. And then there's also a YouTube channel which has a lot of the movies that Phoenix Independent Filmmakers Group did.
Okay.
But you can also go to Phoenix Independent Filmmakers Group, and that's it's IndieFilm, INDIEFILM.meetup.com/172. And it's the Phoenix Independent Filmmakers Group on Meetup.
Thank you for joining us today. It was such a pleasure.
Yes, just flew by.
Yes, it did. Thank you for joining us here today on Desert Wood Days. And